Hey, hello, everyone. Rich Romanek, Director of Sales at NuAIg. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. We'll be joined by two of my associates, Jody and Chirag, momentarily. So again, let me begin. Welcome to the webinar series by NuAIg, Transforming the Aging Industry with Artificial Intelligence. We appreciate you taking the time today to join us. We'll be discussing how automation is helping, my eyes here, is helping internal and external stakeholders across lines of business in a series of webinars. And today we'll be focusing on automation HR processes. At the end of this webinar, we'll have a Q&A. You can post your questions and we'll go over them in the order that they're received. So again, my team members today are Jody and Chirag. So what we'll be discussing is the current scenario in resident admissions, about RPA, automation user cases, and the benefits of automation. We go to the next slide. So before we begin, I'd like to give you a brief overview of who we are. NuAIg is focused on long-term providers, and we've mapped over 100 process workflows with automation potential and the highest ROI. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, it's just a handful of some of our current clients. Next. So in this slide here, you can see the pictures here. One of the things we're doing is knowledge sharing AI 101. And the pictures here of us were in Denver, which I'll elaborate a little bit later on this. Next, Jody. So here are some of the processes today that we'll be talking about. And with that, again, on HR. And so I would like to right now hand that over to Jody. Jody?
Sure. Thanks, Rich. So to open with the webinar, I want to talk about the HR department, how it works currently in the industry. So the HR department in any organization forms the very backbone, starting from the point an employee has to be recruited till he or she is in an organization until the point he or she leaves. HR have to play the most critical and the crucial role. So talking about the current scenario in the long-term care industry itself, where attrition rate is very high and the task of HR becomes more and more complicated, where they have to not only work towards developing policies, programs, training, along with ensuring that the right employees are hired and retained in the organization. So on screen, you see a couple of responsibilities of the HR department. The list is quite exhaustive, but these are just a few of them. And in addition to this, the HR department has to manage a lot of physical paperwork for hiring, transfer, training, benefits, leave management, and etc., which overall is very overwhelming for them. So not only this information from these physical forms or the paper form have to be actually captured and updated across the software ecosystem that the community might be using at any point of time, ranging from HRMS, payrolls, and application tracking systems. So on screen, you see a few of these softwares, and I'm pretty sure a few of you, many of you would be able to recall a few of these being used in your communities. And with this, you also can relate the amount of efforts and the time that goes behind in managing the data and the communication across the departments to ensuring proper data management for all the records and policies. So talking about the actual industry reports, it's said that on an average, 63% of the workforce is currently occupied with the manual data entry tasks, and almost 40% of the workers are spending approximately 10 hours per week on these repetitive and manual tasks. And to add to this, what happens with these mundane tasks is that it leads to human errors. There are reporting issues. There is problems with maintaining data records. It leads to miscommunication. And not only this, since HR department is occupied with all these mundane activities, important tasks like and the focus of the HR department, like maintaining and improving the work environment altogether for the employees, somewhere or the other takes the back seat. So, with the advancement of technology, a lot of industry leaders are actually looking up to automation, bringing in automation to reduce all this manual data entry task and to adopt this automation to ensure much more improved and better process flows across their communities. So talking about what automation is and how automation works. So before I begin with it, the automation or the robotic process automation altogether could be a very fancy word and an intimidating term for any of you, I believe. But I want you to imagine this AI-enabled automation or these robots to be as the enablers, as your digital workforce, who would be assisting you in very high volume and very highly transactional processes in helping you in doing all these repetitive and mundane tasks. So these bots can actually assist you and can read through all the different paper forms, the PDFs, and can update the data across the systems. So everything they do it at the back end of your system uninterruptedly. They won't interrupt your day-to-day activities. They'll be taking care of this at the back end. So even the follow-ups with the employees and the departments for data collection and everything can be done by these bots, and that too at 100% accuracy, at a lightning fast speed, at and they are compliant and they have 100% efficiency. So in overall, it makes the environment more better for your employees and it makes it more uh, assisting to them. So to give you a much more clear view on how these bots could work in your communities and benefit the HR department, we have a few of the use cases where these RP bots have been implemented and has been known to give the best ROIs and hours of savings to the communities. So the first and the very most important use case we have for today is that of status notice form, or it is also known to be called as personal action form in some of the communities. So it's an important process which needs to be initiated whenever there is a change in an employee's status, like there's a pay change or there's a termination or leave of absence. So usually here the supervisors in the community actually acts as the agent who will be informing about this change to the ARD department, who is responsible to initiate this request, change request, and collect all the information, submit the status notice form to the human resource department, and update who would actually be updating the software ecosystem with this new data and also updating the payroll department. So this all takes place either through the physical forms or through the verbal communication, which leads to human errors. There is delays, there are usually delays, and there is lack of transparency among the stakeholders, as in where the request is, how much time will it take, etc. So now to give you a glimpse on how this whole process can work under automation and how these bots can actually make this whole process work in a more streamlined fashion, I would like to play a small video where RPA bots are actually deployed and are functioning on the systems.
This is the initial form where employee ID is entered and request change type. is selected from the drop-down. Rest information is automatically fetched by the bot and populated into the form. Now, requester, if required, may need to fill up a few of the mandatory details into the form and finally submit it to the approver for approval. Now, in the approver mailbox, mails are received, and in the mail there is a link of status notice approval. Once it is opened, it shows two of the buttons as approve and reject. So the approver would check the data and click on those buttons accordingly. If the request is approved or rejected, an email is triggered and sent to the requester accordingly. User can also check the status of raised request by clicking on the request repository and submitting the request number which he would have received in the email. Now, as soon as the request is approved or rejected, requester receives an email accordingly with an attached PDF file containing the details of the raised request. This is the initial form.
So I hope this gave you a bit of the clarity on how these RP bots can actually work on your systems, are actually deployed and work at the back end, capturing the information and submitting the request and streamlining the whole process accurately and with compliance, working with 100% security, 100% accuracy and securely at a lightning fast speed. So these bots are actually deployed end to end and are triggered as soon as the request was submitted. And they work on the process in a manner, they are coded in a manner, in a fashion that your community actually takes forward this process. So here it was just a glimpse of how this was implemented for one of our client. So moving ahead, we have another potential use case of hiring and recruitment. So we believe, as we have been working with a lot of communities out in the industry, and we have realized that in a medium-sized community, around 30 to 40 employees are leaving per month, and these positions have to be refilled by these HRs. So the task of filling up these many job openings is tedious. So HRs have to post these jobs with the job description and everything on the application tracking system or on their websites, and the recruitment has to be initiated, wherein they'll be shortlisting the candidates, interviewing, and following up with the applicants, updating the information across the software system, which overall is a very tedious task and requires a lot of back and forth and time to make it success. So now consider the whole scenario where these RPA bots are implemented and deployed. So as soon as the HR actually posts a job on these application tracking systems, bot can track the application and shortlist the candidates. They can actually schedule the interviews as per the availabilities. And once the candidate is selected and after the interviews, the bot can actually send across the communication, can send across the offer letters for this actually new onboard recruited employee. Along with it, bot can also follow up and collect all the additional documents from this candidate and update this information in the HRMS system, and further initiate the onboarding process and other processes that the community would be following up for this new hire, thus simplifying the whole process of hiring, eliminating any delays, human errors, and improves the communication, data management, speeding up the hiring process, and saving the time for the community. and everyone. Moving ahead, we would like to talk about another potential use case of onboarding. So once this new employee is finally given the offer and is hired, this new onboarding process has to be initiated, which is very much heavy on the paperwork and takes a lot of time and effort to make it smooth. So the HR will start the onboarding process post selecting the new employee and prepare for all the paper forms, which they will get it filled from this new employee. Once every information is received, they will actually upload the records into the systems. They'll assign the trainings, certifications, orientations would be scheduled. Everything will be done based upon the designation of this new employee. So this all can be taken care by the bots when it's done under automation. So what happens is now when you initiate the onboarding process, the bot will actually send out these digital forms that needs to be submitted for the onboarding to the employee, who would fill in all the information and send it across. Bot will read through the information from these forms and will update all the software systems accordingly. Post that, bot can schedule the orientation, assign all the mandatory trainings, and can initiate the further processes of onboarding the employee. Thus simplifying the whole process again, making it a better experience for the new hires and a smooth experience for your HR department as well. So as I was just talking about how these bots can actually assign the mandatory trainings and certification to the employees, what happens is the HR department are also supposed to keep a track of all the mandatory trainings and certification status of the existing employees. So what bot can do is they can actually, when employed, can keep a track of all these mandatory trainings and can send out reminders and follow-ups to these employees to get these done in a time period which meets the compliance, and so that the whole community and all the employees are compliant with the mandatory trainings and the certifications are done on time. So moving ahead, I would like to summarize all that we have been talking about, how automation is benefiting the industry altogether, how RPA bots are bringing in a change into the communities and into the HR departments. So these bots are actually reducing the inefficiencies, the human errors, the time delays, and the work, especially the workload across your workforce. They are able to take off all those extra efforts, all these extra hours they are putting in to make sure the whole process looks smooth. So overall, when they are enabling your workforce, they are taking and ensuring that they boost the morale of your workforce, such that the community is able to and utilize their workforce, their human resources for much better task of not only ensuring better policies are maintained, better workforce and better environment altogether is maintained in your community. So making sure that everything looks good on not only from the point of view of the employees, not only from the point of view of the human work resources, but also a better place for the residents and the caregivers, ensuring that your community has a brand name that is being carried by your employees and everyone across. So this brings me to the end of the webinar.
All right, Jody, thank you very much, everyone. So thanks, Jody. So here's a snapshot of our team. Recently, we were in Denver at Leading Edge. We had a very good presence at our booth and mainly at our presentation the last morning with UMC, one of our clients. We had close to 200 attendees for an 8 in the morning session. So just goes to show there's great interest in what our RPA can do. And with that, I see that we have a number of questions here. Jody, do you want to start with the first question, or Chirag, do you?
Yeah, sure. I'll take up the first question. So the very first question that we have is on how the data security is ensured when implementing these bots. So I guess that's a very valid and an important question to be addressed with respect to the RPA bots. So the RPA bots are actually deployed on your network and on your virtual machines. And even when they are coded, so these bots are actually coded on your systems itself. So at all the time when this deployment and coding is done and the implementation is done, the data never leaves your network. And the bots are running on your network, thus ensuring that the overall data security is actually ensured and taken care of. So we have a question where it says that, will this be recorded to be sent to us to share with our teams? Yes, we'll be doing that. You'll be getting an email, and you can also reach out onto our website wherein you can actually see the recorded session. If you wish, we can send out an emailer to your community members as well, wherein we can send out this recording to them. Along with it, moving on to the next question. So we have another question wherein it says that how to start the AI journey or how to start the implementation of RPA bots. So I agree that the AI automation or RPA bot implementation sounds very new and intimidating at times to anyone who is listening to it for the first time. And this question is very much natural to come to anyone's mind. So typically we suggest that before we start implementing any technology, it's that we actually take all the stakeholders together into this and ensure that they understand this technology and how this can actually help them. So we at NuAIg actually offer complimentary workshops where we do one-on-one calls with the stakeholders, telling them in details how the AI RPA bots can actually work. And since we actually work closely with the CCRCS and we understand their nuances and complexities, so that allows us to actually pinpoint the right use cases that are most fruitful for them to automate. So this one-on-one calls helps in understanding and giving them a better picture and as in wherein they should start their journey. And we also offer complimentary brainstorming sessions and POCs, where if you have any use case in mind where you think that automation could be the best fit, we can have a discussion and let you know the feasibility of this altogether. And we are just a call away and just an email away at any point of time. So we have another question where it says, can the bots be changed or the codes of the bots be changed at any point of time? So yes, since I was just mentioning that these bots are deployed and implemented on your system, so the code is actually on your system itself. We have also come across a few of the with our clients wherein there has been instances where the UI changes for the software, and at times these bots have to be recoded. So at any point of time, any change does occur in any of the process occurring at your location or at your community, this can be these bots can be changed because you have the code, and this can be changed at any point of time. All right, so I guess These were the couple of questions we had for today.
All right, Jody, thank you. And everyone, thanks for your time. We greatly appreciate it. And as Jody said, we'll have the recording available more likely by Friday. Everyone, thanks for your time. You have a great day ahead. Goodbye now.
Thank you so much.